Run Nona Kirka, late as always, indeed. Uh, what are we drinking? Says Mondo Daffs and Brush. Lots of things. Graham Shaw, La Greca, well, I'll just say Frost Giant, Harris Chalk. Getting coffee. I've actually got tea. Just because that's the way it worked out. I was just finishing a video. Actually, I've been making some prop electronics. I shall show you those. I'm just going to square this off a little tiny bit. Could do with a tiny little bit of an adjustment. That is better. So, good evening and hello, family. If you have just joined the stream, make sure that you are at the live bit and not started right at the beginning, just because YouTube may still sometimes do that. I don't know if it was a glitch in the past or it still happens to people, but just as a precaution of that, make sure you're up to the correct time. And if you are, drop a message in the chat just to say if that happened to you. But at this point in time, it's just started, so it is live. No June or Kev, well, I hope not. Paul Marley. Top of head is cut off. It is cut off a little bit. Hold on, I'm just going to angle the recording device up just a tiny bit at the risk of pinging it right off the stand. I shall see how that goes. Best wishes from Northern Ireland. It's not that far away at Ian M, since we are in the Irish Sea together. Angle of the Dangle, Votar 2M stereo. It is indeed. Ralphie banished. Ralphie is not banished as such, garbage user. I've seen him twice since I got back. Did I grow taller or not? That I'm aware of. Hold on, I shall just check. If I stand upright, that is fine now. It has been adjusted accordingly. And I am back in the Isle of Man, Oliver. The dome gloweth. Is that the top of the head? Is it looking particularly reflective? Actually, you know what? I can get rid of this light and it will make a slight difference. Let me just see if this makes a slight difference. No, not much difference at all. Have you slept better in your old swamp bed, Mondo Daffs a Brush? I have been sleeping well. This is a good thing. Has he killed your cats? No, Mr. Egg. I seem to have gained a cat. There's a Manx cat, a Stumpy, just hanging about in my garden shed for some reason. Camera is still slightly tilted. It is very, very slightly tilted, as in 1 micron. That's good enough, I think. Maybe it's the house that's tilted. Maybe I'm tilted. How's things around the house? Everything is fine, Megavoltmeister. It smells just like it normally smells. It smells musty. It always does. It's always smelled like that. Kevin Horsey, any Hutchie news? Hutchie gave me special treatment when I got back. She's obviously missed my presence, maybe because of the treats I give her, which is a reasonable reason to have a cat miss your presence. For some reason, there are rodents in your shed? No, just because it's got a cat door in it and the cats can shelter out the weather in it. First time I've seen Clive in 720p, Jonathan Hughes. 720p is the default resolution for the YouTube webcam streams. Brendan, I am back in the house. Nice set of supercomputers. Indeed, William Nemo. You're just twisted. Yes, Simon Hopkins, that is true. Ozone would help that musty smell. In quantities, yes, Norm Swan, but it's better actually getting rid of the original source. Now, Lockwatcher says sanitize. But is that needed anymore? ELW, it does feel good to be home. It's been quite disruptive travelling. Although, I will say the thing that I'm noticing most here in the Isle of Man is the complete lack of everything. Because the Isle of Man is a very... Well, it's not a city. Did you swallow the supercomputer badge? The supercomputer badge, I'm not wearing it just in case I accidentally take the battery out and swallow it. For those who don't know what I mean by that, Mouse has had his listings for the supercomputers taken off Etsy because a Karen reported that someone might take the battery out the back and eat it. Right. It's a 20mm battery. It's not the sort of thing. I mean, I suppose a kid could swallow a 20mm battery, but, you know, you have to, just at some point you have to say, this is odd. Hi, Cutoff. Sanitize, yes, Rom Nona. Do you really want me to sanitize? I shall stick the computer on first. Maybe I'll get an ultraviolet badge computer so it can sterilize everybody while blinking away and computing. Right, sterilization, if you wish sterilization. then here it is. Be careful now, it might blind you because, you know, Karens. I just renamed one of my videos. Scanning the ozone one to the non-Karen truth about ozone. How's the beard reacting now? Now it's a very slightly different colour from normal. For those who don't know, I may have applied dye while on the Embrit 2. It went total ginger, but now it's actually, the grey is coming back as a fairish colour. It looks alright, actually. And I am indeed back. You just don't take out the batteries in UV lamp and eat them, you'll be fine. The chipmunk, it is rechargeable. It's an 18650. It might be better stuck up the other end. Would they ban wireless earbuds as well? Probably, because people could swallow wireless earbuds, Patrick. It's shift without the battery. It's not that. It's the fact the battery can be taken out by a small child and then eaten, apparently. Right. And it's quite tricky in the badge to actually find a lockable way. But having said that, there's two solutions to this. One, Mouse says he's redesigned it slightly so it's safe. You can't take the battery out without tools, which is annoying. Or the other is just to list it as something completely separate. And I'll just mention, if you want one of these supercomputer badges, then you can get it on Etsy, but it's described as a metal butt fondler or something like that. Just some random device. Something undesirable. A metal butt fondler would probably be very popular, right enough. I ordered a metal butt fondler, and this is what I got. I wish to complain. Yes. Just put an age limit on it. Well, you know, you might be having a party, right? Guns are great, and then it falls off, and then a kid picks it up. This is what Karens do. They invent scenarios. This is why the health and safety executive is basically Karens. But anyway, at least the child would die fabulously. Yes, Darwinian evolution to a degree, yes. The people are still talking about Darwinian. People are still dying from the microwave thing, and they're still bursting into flames, and they're still setting their houses on fire when they're playing about with the fractal wood burning. It's horrific. What was the first thing you did when you got home from your trip, Lockwatcher? I fell asleep, actually. So, Scruff Dog, did you enjoy your day out at the state fair? Scruff Dog was streaming from, well, is it a state fair or is this a fair thing? Yeah. Nope, sent to the beginning. What? Oh, right, did it? Captain Jim, did it start at the beginning? That's quite annoying. This apparently happens. Rob Morris, note isn't I am a HSE advisor. Oh, well done, you. Are you fed up with the bloody dead Queen Sam McLachlan? The Queen, I've already made my formal statement about that. I think she did a great job as a queen. Not a terribly exciting queen. She didn't have MD beheaded, but you know what? She did a great job as a queen. Stotty, I don't think selling it without a battery. It's the fact that it's not a lockable battery compartment. What can you do? Clive, I emailed you earlier about a power supply. Adam, I shall check that out. What is the sauce of choice today? Sauce. Oh, alcohol. It's going to be white rum and ginger beer, and when they run out of ginger beer, it will be cream soda. What are we drinking tonight? That is what I'm drinking tonight. Must have us fees. Kate Everhart, she did. I wasn't aware that she had MDB headed, apart from the rumours that she bumped Diana off, but that's unlikely. Could we have a Jägermeister for Pool Paul's mum, who passed away a year ago? We can. Since it is time for the first Jägermeister to Pool Paul's mum. Mums are kind of important. Well, they're very important. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for mums. To Pool Paul's mum. In the meantime, apparently, the new... it's very easy to remember the name of the new Prime Minister in Britain, because her name is literally Mistrust. That's how you remember it. Just the word mistrust, and it's mistrust. She's got off to a great start by taking the ban from fracking up so they can smash up the ground and pollute it, and also reinstating sugar at high volumes in soft drinks for children. Well done, you cow. I'm just going to turn the dehumidifier compressor off. It looks like we do have Margaret Thatcher Mark II, and the brown envelopes are flying off the shelves. Charlie's just laid off 50, the big-eared bastard Martin Bamforth. If he's not based in there anymore, there's no point having a staff in an empty building, really, from that perspective, but I'm not really sure. 50 is a lot of people. The battery might pass through anyway. It doesn't work that way. If a kid swallows a battery, it can cause electrical problems, electrochemistry issues inside and damage the cells. Mine's a fruity red wine, and the brand's getting open at Allenhurst. I would like some red wine, but it just gives me heartburn for some reason. White wine makes me feel rough. Any chance of a house tour one day? No, Paul Marley, because it's a dump. It's such a mess. It's piles of technical junk. Don't forget the huge bankers' bonuses. Indeed, Gonzo the Great. Of course, she said there's no cap on the bankers' bonuses, just in case they couldn't use up all the interest that was left. This has turned into a rant already. Bucky doesn't, Jack Attack. Oh, Bucky is? That's an interesting thing I have to do. I should have brought some Bucky back with me. On a plus note, the more scummy stuff she does, the Poundland Thatcher is the happy little fox, a.k.a. Benji, the more scummy stuff she does, the more likely Scottish independence is going to happen to show the rest of Britain that we don't actually need these looters. Any chance of dump tour then? No, Tom Houston, because it's terrible. Naomi says, piles of electrical junk I see you live in my house. Many of us have piles of electrical junk. Explosions, please. Explosions happen on the half hour, every half hour, John Lewis, but on the half hour. Mondo Dust Rush, I thought batteries were going to be obsolete and rechargeable, only never happened. Indeed. That's it. I've used a 2032 in a recent thing I'm working on. I'll show you, in fact. An odd prop task for one of the Glasgow prop companies to electronify a gun. Now, this is a abattoir gun. It's designed for you put it to an animal's head, pull the trigger, and bang, the animal is then suitable for preparation for eating, apparently. I'm not an expert in such things, but this thing, you cock the hammer back at the back, you put what looks like a .22 shell in, and then when you pull the trigger, the hammer slams forward, bangs the pin, it fires, but a captive bolt end here comes out and then retracts back in again. Feels really rugged. It's like a really heavy gun. Feels great in the hand, but perhaps not ideal for assassins. It's a bolt gun. Yes, it is a bolt gun. However, the production this is appearing in, it's going to be an electronic one. It's based on that one. It'll look like that one, but it'll sit into a charging cradle and it won't have explosives. And in that charging cradle will be the charge indicator and the charged indicator. It was going to be a microprocessor. It was going to be showing all the different stages and the flashing LEDs and then moving on to the next one, then static green. But it became much simpler, but they left so little time at the end. It started off 4 weeks allowance, then it became 2 weeks allowance, and then they said, could we have a week earlier? So a week, there's not enough time to order the materials. So instead of the single switch with the 3 positions, the middle off, the left and the right, it's ended up being 2 switches because it has to switch the polarity because I didn't have any multi-core thin cable. So it's ended up 2-core, which means it's swapping the polarity to the wiring loom for the charger indicators. Nothing terribly fancy. The other thing they might want, and it's strictly an option, is a little LED up the end of the barrel that just glows at the end of the barrel, suggesting the electronic stun weapon is active. And for that, because the castings that have been made uh, have a very small hollow inside the handle. It's a 2032 with a resistor in the back and a holder with a bit of heat shrink, just loose wires at the moment, and then the LED which can be fed down the barrel, and then the switch which you can drill two holes in the side of the moulding and just put this in the side with a bit of glue so that the person holding it can just squeeze the side of it with their finger and actually bring the LED on. It's just an extra gimmick. This is how props work. Ah. Could you make a printed double pole? No, there's no time. Well, yes, you could actually bridge them. No, there's no time for stuff like this. This has to go out now in order to get back in time into Glasgow in time, the prop company, for incorporation into stuff, which means the fact that it's a bank holiday is not that great. It would have been better going out today, but I got just final details yesterday. It'll be going out as spares as usual, just in case of things. It looks very great. Have you got a cheap endoscope review? No, Dance at Aardvarks, but there are lots of endoscopes available, including cordless Wi-Fi ones in the shape of a pen, of which I have one of them here somewhere. I think in a Dick Francis novel, someone tries to use a bolt on a human, but is prevented. Maybe it is a Dick Francis novel. I'm not really sure. Maybe it is that Marky and Gully, because they're using the real weapon on set, which means they have to have an armourer present just because it is an active weapon, even though there's no cartridge in it. And also, they've got castings of the original guns, so that for throwing, including possibly a soft one. There we go. It's fine. It's done. Did you do props for Benny Hill? No, I did not, Norm Swan. Mostly sci-fi-ish type stuff and BBC crime series and, well, Scottish crime series. South Main Autos an endoscope review, indeed, Kovashen. Uses it for looking down into cylinders from the spark plugs. Is that the one that looks out the end but also to the side as well? It's quite clever. Do they give you a recording of colonoscopy, Mr. Eggcake? I would have liked one, but alas, no. But you could give yourself a colonoscopy. Just got a laser cartridge for my handgun to practice indoors, says Goofy Brained. So one of the reasons that they've clamped down recently really tightly on the use of guns on film and television sets is that on a production in America, I think it was America, they were filming and some of the crew decided to take the prop gun, but they were real guns they were using, but not loaded. They took them out to have target shooting practice at lunch break and left bullets in them. And one of the actors during the filming shot another actor and killed him. Or her. Not sure. Pretty grimmed. Don't give yourself a colonoscope. You might pierce your colon. Only if you're like really pointy things, Horovac. There's rough poop comes out there. It should be fine. China Earth Air Guns, that whole thing was a shit show. It was a bit of a disaster, yes. Bizarre. Camera girl died. Oh, that's sad. Oh, yeah. He's probably told to shoot towards the camera and pulled the trigger and shot the camera. Well, the cameraman. This is not great. What did the postman leave while you were away? Some stuff arrived from eBay, well, AliExpress from early on. I'm trying to think of things that arrived from AliExpress. One of them was just some red LEDs, but stringed together. I didn't realize they were oval LEDs. They're signage LEDs, not so great. But, and, well, overalls and things like that, as usual. It was Alec Baldwin, that's it. Yeah, on the set of Rust. Clive, will any time be spent, says Eric the King, be on Monday for the funeral worrying about power cuts for the media, etc.? Will electricians be on standby? I doubt it. A lot of that stuff's backed up by generators. They usually have independent power sources as a precaution against such things. I don't know if power cuts are predicted. Well, I don't feel, sorry, I mean, Florida, is that Florida, is an awesome place to live. It's kind of divisive, that. Some people hate Florida and some people love it. Maybe they go there with happy Disney thoughts and find it's not happy Disney. I took the local transport about in Florida with my mum when we were across. We didn't just do the Disney touristy stuff. We went into the outskirts of Florida, of Orlando in particular. Or is Florida Orlando? Yeah, I think then one of those. Anyway, we're there and we travelled about, went into some of the rougher looking areas. They looked okay, but it definitely, there was the bits that you don't normally see. Anyone else think coffin is empty? Mondo dabs brush? Don't think so. Her body would have been embalmed, so it will be preserved. Did anyone turn up at the meetup in overalls? No, Mr. Egg Cake, but a couple of them could because, well, one turned up in work clothing, but there were plenty there that were involved in utility industry. Electron Box has just been playing with his cat on the laminate floor. That'll be pushing your cat randomly about in it because they seem to like that. Franco Walker, hope your asthma isn't too bad. You're not that late, Multicoder. But it does get pretty hot there. I remember wandering along next to I-4. Was it I-4? No. International Drive. That sounds better. And seeing an armadillo for the first time just scuttling about in the grass and not sure what the fuck is that? Is it dangerous? Frost Giant said, I plan to stay all evening, but my foot is in pain again. What's up with your foot? Arthur Two Shed Jack says, my cat is now mum. Kittens asunder. Raymond Ray for president? Not sure, Brian Cox. I don't think like us, he wouldn't really be interested in stuff like that. They carry leprosy. Well, that's delightful, China North Airguns. An enormous dildo. I'm not sure, Jack Attack, if maybe people have tried to put armadillos up. Poke it with a stick if you're not sure. Yes, John Hughes, that probably works really well with alligators and things like that. Skinner says, actors don't check, nor are they expected to check the gun. It is the prop master's job, or the armourer's. We're an active form of check that is like to mess up the prop. Yeah, you have to be careful. You can't assume that they're going to actually remember to do that. Or do it correctly. Def Palm, I suppose you can't say what program that prop is for. I don't even know. I never know what production things are for. Sometimes I do because I know that a particular individual is, say, for instance, if I'm making props, not done it for a long time, for Taggart, a new make of Taggart, I was going to say a second name there, let's not dox people, but I know that when he's ordering something for a particular application, it's almost certainly Taggart, because he did almost nothing but Taggart. There's been a murder. Quite interesting props. Eric O will make a fine present. Eric O might make a good present. Not sure. Tech Hub. I'm not sure what he'd stand for. Guns. And less red tape. It is woofle time. Let's have a woofle. I do have air purification on to clean woofle vapors away. Woofle juice. The woofle juice has been sitting here all the time, been away. It seems fresh and it smells like washing up liquid. That should be fine. It's going to get sterilised anyway. Woofling. Woofle number 1. Fireball. Little smoky ring going across the ceiling. Oh, didn't spot the spidery type thing. It's not happy. Oh well. Woofle. Smaller woofle. Oh, but still a big woofle. Okay. Yeah, it's not moving. I don't think it's happy. Anyway, has your carpet dried up and lost its stickiest Mondo Dash brush? It's not really sticky. Oh, human seagulls there. Yeah, out drinking beer, human seagull. GS1512, Tiger was mandatory watching at the time, indeed. Did some interesting props for Tiger. Bugs and things like the things you swipe your card through on a safe, but because of the location, it had to be a self-contained battery-operated unit that stuck on and reacted to the card being swiped through it. And an answering machine that would perform on cue, which in this case was just a PIC microcontroller, directly controlling the 7-segment display and a few LEDs in it, so you could set it to what you wanted, whether it was like it was showing messages, it would like flash a 1 or a 2 to show messages, or it would actually show the recording or other logos in the 7-segment display. Just props. But actors don't fully understand guns. They need proper training. Because even a blank firing gun can kill you. There are incidents when some people, more than one occasion, they've put the gun to their head jokingly and gone bang, and it has actually killed them because it will penetrate the skull, even with no bullet, just a blank. Also, the prop guns are sometimes modified for safety with a little vent coming out the top to vent the gas if the end is obstructed, just as a precaution, just to stop an actual bullet being fired out. And there have been instances the actors taking the gun and then putting their hand on top of it and going pew, and actually blowing a hole through their hand because that's where the explosion was vented out. Just a cap removed top of the head, it can DCL, and it's pretty grim. It was Brandon Lee. He was. The wadding killed him. Directors don't understand helicopters either, indeed, Dennis. But have you noticed how it used to be quite expensive to get the helicopters on set for filming? And you used to see the shadow of the helicopter sometime in like TV filming. But now it's drones. It's a smaller shadow and it's so much cheaper than getting a helicopter. That's not great for the helicopter guys. Guns are stupid. Leave them to Americans, Justin Thomas. I have to say that one of the conditions on America actually taxing me is I want my big American overalls. I want a truck. I want a big property on land, middle of nowhere, and I want guns. That's it. I want the full American works. This is what we think of you Americans. Big trucks, guns, and overalls. Well, that's what I think of Americans. Magnum PI, Jack Attack, won't lie. Even when I was young, even when I didn't know any better, may have had a slight crush on Magnum. Tom Selleck. Chris Berger, pretty accurate, indeed. And Budweiser, beer, indeed, Scott Wade. I had Budweiser recently. I had Budweiser at the Glasgow meet because it was a predictable beer. The Glasgow meet was quite nice, but I'm not going to do it on a Saturday again. It was absolutely packed. It was so busy. I'm sitting in a room full of firearms, says Will Allen. I have a friend who works in the television and film industry who has a safe, a weapons safe, and it's got everything in it. It's really impressive, but they're modified for film use. Might go into a party at Tom's house back in the day. Was it a sexy fun party, China North Air guns? Is the beard soft? This beard, it's voluptuous. Yes, it's very soft. Tony only has 19 guns. I guess, that's all right. We all have a favourite, though. Xenodilodon, I love my swords. They don't run out of ammo. Yeah, Xenodilodon, the problem is that until your opposition runs out of ammo, the sword, it can only be used for deflecting bullets with very fast work. I think I'd choose the gun. Maybe I'd be in it then. Both. What is the tog rating of the beard? It's not bad because in winter, ice will form the outside, but also because the hairs go directly into the skin itself, in summer it breathes. It's like these things, it's like cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and it's usually a load of crap. But in the case of beards, that's what actually happens because it's natural. Did you buy Ralphie a pink bubble wand? I did not, Martin Bamforth, but I did bring the guts of the other one across after offering it to my neighbours, and they said, no, we'll just make a huge mess with it. I'll maybe just get them a big bubble gun. Can we stroke your beard at meetups? No, Mr. Eggcake, it's unhygienic, fondling people's beards. Both for me, just as good as most civilian rifles, Captain Jim. Ralph has won awards for his archery. That's handy because it doesn't make much noise. Justin Thomas made a 3D printed gun, works great. How long will it last though? Scruff Dog, you don't buy beer, you simply rent it for about an hour and then they recycle it. Maybe they just add ethanol and flavouring at the toilets. There is a risk, litter picker, that I can't promote my beard on the internet in case a child tries to eat it and chokes in the beard. That just sounds all weird and pedo for some reason. Can you bring some beard clippings to stroke? No, because that would be weird, not me. And you might genetically clone me and create more Clives, and that would be a bad thing. Oh, Zergroff. Talking about grease guns. I've never kissed the Blarney Stone. It sounds unhygienic if you ask me, Robert Allen. Let me just go and grab a big blob of grease. Or grease, if you prefer. While I was away, the grease thing spewed all its grease out, running on the hearing aid batteries. So that kind of shows that they produced more than enough gas. It's kind of got to the end and then it's kind of like backed a little bit. I'm not sure, maybe it's vented in some way. Maybe I should open it up and find out if it vented, but I don't see the top hasn't popped off. I thought that would have popped off. So that's what used to be inside. Maybe I should load it all back in, put some new batteries in and do it all over again. Oh, we get a sex bot. Excellent. Oh, Chipmunk got the sex bot. Pegtooth, in the 90s, a dude whacked another dude from an office building in Calgary, Alberta. What with? No DNA in here, Dundee Mink. Is there no DNA in here? I thought there was. That's reassuring to know when I'm committing crimes in case I leave a beard here. There was a kid who made a fortune gaming a no questions thing, or the gun buyback scheme by printing 3D guns and turn them in. Absolutely, snorkers. Braincrop's grease is underappreciated by non-engineering types. They just think it's sticky and unpleasant, it smells bad, but in reality it's kind of important. Keeps the world running. I've been seeing signs in Glasgow that said, ban all the oil. Or it's just like, or just generically ban oil. I think maybe their chips are going to taste terrible without being fried. I don't think they realise, well, I know they're probably talking petrochemical oil, but they probably don't realise how many places that petrochemical oil is used. The sex bot, Kovishen, is probably wearing leather and stilettos. It's the one off Rick and Morty. Thank you, First Mate. I am glad to be back to the Isle of Man for a break from big city stuff, but also missing the big city. Here it does contain DNA, BA. I thought it would. What was the reason you never mixed oxygen gas with grease, salt and oxy bottles, Mondo Daps a brush? Oxygen will react with, grease is basically, it's a fuel. So I would expect it to potentially pose a bit of a fire risk. The world runs in lube. It does get your spin in many ways. Water and oil-based lubes. Only the roots of hair hold DNA. Oh, but what if a hair get pulled out? I wonder what's in there. I'm not sure. It's your castor oil for engine lubrication. Aviators are not very happy about it. They still do in bikes, TDO Brandano, and it stinks. I hate the smell of castor oil. That's where Castrol came from, because it was castor oil based. Oh, Dennis just finished a bottle of butterscotch rum. Sounds reasonable enough. Is it sweet and sickly? I would expect it to be. Dunno. Not because it's any better, but because petrol was hard to come by. That makes sense. Any coercive letters from Capita? Well, here's an odd thing, Brendan Elton. While I was away working on the tattoo, I thought I would have had by the time I was away and back at the flat, I thought a letter would arrive because they do it quite regularly, but one hadn't. But here there was two waiting for me. Passed over Ferry Bridge recently? Yes, both of them, because the Ferry Bridge is not the real Ferry Bridge. The Ferry Bridge, the reason the decorative one is used as the one for people to say hello fairies and visit, is because it's the main bridge just after that as you're heading into Douglas that is the real Ferry Bridge. I say hello to the fairies at both of them just because, I don't want fucked with bad luck, really, fundamentally. And you know what those fairies are like? Quite aggressive. They used to use slugs as lubricant. Oh, Benji, that's disgusting. Well, I do have two of the letters, but they're just the stock ones. I'll put this cup through it then. Get drink. They've sent the usual. This one's just the boring bland red one, and the other one is the official notice investigation opened, which it's just like, yeah, bring it on, you ring pieces. Oh, I'm so scared. The Capita's pursuing me for a TV license when I don't watch TV. Wankers. Not to worry. Soon the BBC will be gone. Maybe. British Brainwashing Corporation. Harsh Chalk, could you read it? No, because I've read so many out and people got upset when I read them because they're so aggressive and malicious. Minky Moo 2, the BBC do need to go and get fucked in many ways. The BBC did not film the tattoo this year. It was an independent company, but I think it was the same camera people. I'm not really sure. That's what happens. So, the British Brainwashing Corporation, indeed. Yes, Sam McLachlan, they are assholes, indeed. But that is it. I'm going to have my rum now and ginger beer. Dark and Stormy's Asunder. Cheap rum. Of course, there's no point in getting expensive rum. Especially if we're going to put ginger beer in. How long before I sneeze? Because the bubbles in the ginger beer go right up my nose. Tony Weaver says, I've no intention of buying a TV license again. There's just, why would you watch mainstream TV when you have YouTube, which is just contains solid, interesting, diverse technical content that is real and not basically stage managed. "45 RPM says, I worked at Audionics. The BBC text came, they're the poshest people I've ever met. It's because it's a club for the House of Lords children, really. Is there diet or zero sugar iron brew? Yes, Nigel Gunn. It doesn't taste right, though. I will admit that's one that really doesn't taste right. And Matt England points out that YouTube Premium costs less than a TV license and equally has no adverts, but just tons. I mean, you can watch too much YouTube. Too watery, Graham Shaw. It is. There's something. It's the lack of sugar means it's not got that correct texture. And it's a bit coarse. So what else? I think the top is just poking over the small blue supercomputer. What? Sure. there's a possibility, it is about the mouthfeel DCon, there's a possibility that Evolution may be sending me his latest hex pewter, which has the same number of LEDs but is smaller. I'm not sure that miniaturization is the way to go here, but it'll be interesting to see. That should take a while to solder. YouTube is Google. It is Google. Rocco Rizzo. Have you tried an air fryer? Yes, Simon York. I use an air fryer all the time. It's very useful. Great for chips and roast potatoes and things like that. Very good. And small pizzas and, well, crispy coated chicken, which I just had today. It was synthetic chicken inside, I think, but nonetheless, reprocessed chicken. Peter Ferguson, the new thing in number 10 is going to do with the sugar tax. Indeed, the mistrust is doing that, apparently. She's not getting rid of the caffeine in the soft drinks given to children. Thank you, Paul Norman. Can I make the meat sup, so have a drink on me? Why, thank you. The meat was quiet, but that's because I didn't really advertise it well. But that's fine. There was enough of us there to keep chatting for the full duration. I have tons of leaded solder, Aussie Wizard, thank you. Absolutely loads. Isn't an air fryer just a small fan-assisted oven? It is indeed, Nigel Gunn. It is a small fan-assisted oven. They're very, very handy. They're fast, super fast, and when you're a bachelor, that's what you want. I really like the 19-inch rack mount computer. A great way to mesh the IT staff in the server room, Jonathan Hughes. Indeed. Evolution does these kits on Etsy and it does fit on the standard rack mounting system. Oh, talking of GLC PCB, they have put one of my circuit boards up with my permission as a free circuit board. So if you're placing an order with them, you can add a circuit board free, but it's kind of aimed largely at Europe and Britain, which is part of Europe, and Australia and China and 220 countries. It's this circuit board in here. They contact me and ask if they could put it up as a free circuit board. It's still fizzing and smelling fresh and ozone-y. So that can be used as an ionizer, or it can be used with the Russian Nuclear Corporation. Perhaps that didn't age too well. Atmospheric invigorator. Gadolinium is an element. It is indeed, Spider Driver Lee, and it's an interesting element, and it's probably the one that Tesla are using in their gas-free air conditioning concept. Because it turns out gadolinium, I have ordered some. Will it arrive? It came from eBay. Will it be gadolinium? But it's an alloy they use. And if you place gadolinium into a strong magnetic field, basically in between two powerful magnets, it restricts its molecular motion and it liberates excess heat that it can't hold on to. So it gives off heat when you put it in a magnet, and then when you take it back out the magnet, it then gains equilibrium again by absorbing heat from the exterior atmosphere. So there is a wine cooler made by BASF, there's video about this, that basically has a large neodymium iron boron magnet rotating, and it covers loads of sections of the gadolinium alloy, and liquid is passed through the gadolinium alloy, but as it rotates, the magnet rotates, it actually gates the liquid through two water-based loops, probably glycol, one taking the heat away to what would have been in the past, it would be the condenser in the back of a fridge, and the other one, when the magnet's pulled away from the gadolinium, it diverts the liquid through, and that goes into the cold loop for the interior. So this can potentially, well, that goes straight onto, like, bears don't like war, Mr. Egg. I'm not so sure. You look at some of the pictures of bearded soldiers, and sometimes I think some bears are made for war. Anyway, from last night's live stream with, I ended up joining the HVAC overtime. This is a desiccant drum dehumidifier. In here is a drum of desiccant, which is a honeycomb structure. It's about that thick. and the air blows through it, and it's covered in zeolite, and it basically is it's a desiccant. It absorbs moisture from the air. That drum rotates and goes through this section, which is heated. There's a closed loop of a little air blower and the heater, and it blows air out through. Which way is it? It blows air in out through here, the hot air up across the fins, and then down and back through in the continuous loop through the desiccant drum. And then the air in the actual unit is pulled by a fan at the back to pull the air through the plastic condenser and then through the desiccant drum, and then blown out the top as dry, warm air. And what I was thinking was, it's quite interesting that theoretically, if you made the desiccant drum out of, if you made it out of the gadolinium alloy, gadolinium was very rich in it. Oh, right, okay. If you basically had the desiccant wheel, but actually made the gadolinium, theoretically, it could pass through the magnet section with the closed loop of air, the air loop blowing to the exterior of the building. And then the other bit, as it exited, could actually then have the air blowing through it, and as it tried to take the heat back in again, it could cool it. So maybe that's what Tesla's doing. Let's speculate on what Tesla's doing with their inventions. I think the idea is it's going to be an all-electric and compact air conditioner for vehicles initially. Not really sure. The sharpness kitten clause is remarkable. It is Marky and Gully. It pulled my kitchen in two. What? Essentially a swamp cooler that recovers the evaporated water. In a way, yes, ish. But it does recover the water. Quite efficient, not too bad. Works down to 0 degrees Celsius. Curie temperature trick, indeed. Marky and Gully. You're quite right, Tech Ingredients did it. Aha, Peter Stevens. What did Tech Ingredients do? Did they cover the gadolinium? Or was there the desiccant system? I'll have to have a look at that now, just in case they covered gadolinium. Goofy Brain, I know gadolinium is classified remineral, but where's gadolite found? Russia, China, Afghanistan? Not really sure. Desiccant. The Peter Stevens, I remember their big desiccant one, but was that calcium chloride they were using? I'm not really sure. Can't remember what their desiccant was. Quite a complex, big system. I wonder how efficient it really was in the end, and how hygienic it stays. Is gadolinium highly reactive? I don't think so. How shock, I'll find out when it arrives. I don't think it is. I think it's fairly inert. It's in the same category as the rare earth metals like neodymium. Marky Goulet, I made the mistake of adopting an insane orange kitten once. The ginger kittens are just nuts. They're crazy, really characterful. What model of air fryer do you use? One moment. It is a manual control Daewoo, no fancy digital timers. Not really needed, it's not like a microwave. It's rare earth until you cook it, Brian Cox says. Tower is another brand, Mondo Dabs brush, that's sold locally. I think all the main manufacturers make them. They're all based roughly in the same hub inside, probably. Can you air fry Mars bars, CDO brand? I know that wouldn't work well, no. You could, they'll melt, they'll dribble through the bottom. Scruff mentioned some new batteries he was looking at, Lockwatch. I wonder what those are. Gadolinium is used in MRI. It is used, I noticed that, Godzilla 42. Partly because I was looking up gadolinium Tesla. That's a terrible idea because of the high strength magnets used in MRIs. And Tesla being a measurement of magnetism, it was quite hard pinning down anything from Tesla's stuff. Ed Dubonnet. Andrew Thompson, it's quite hard getting to Bonnie here. Even in Glasgow, the local Asda didn't have it. We had, with my neighbours in Glasgow, we had a wee toast to the Queen with vermouth, red vermouth, and gin instead, which is fine. Captain Jim, quick question, Big Clive. How come all rare earths are found only in third world countries, or do we smug gits don't look in our countries? Not really sure. It just may be where those countries are naturally very hot. I'm really not sure. And have lots of slave labour to get it out the ground. That is expendable. If they die, they die, and you can get new ones apparently. That's lovely. The Queen stocked up and bought it all. To be honest, Peter Stevens, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a huge burst of sales of that, because people were saying, toast the departure of the Queen with Bonnie, her favourite drink, and she had 4 drinks a night. Should have slipped some companion to that. Could have done Minky Moo too. But the Queen drank quite heavily, and she lasted till 96, and her mum drank heavily too, and she lasted to over 100. Back in there, man, how's the weather? The weather seems okay, said Extra New. Getting a bit cooler. Last says, rare earths are everywhere, but it's messy to extract. So best done in countries where you don't give a shit about the people, apparently. Dubonnie used to be everywhere you look, Thomas, and I've not seen it for a while. I think maybe the Queen has over-popularised it. Her sister didn't do so well. Princess Margaret. Yeah, DCR, don't know. Can't remember. Minky Mutu says I'll live to 200 then. Yes. Okay, you won't smell too good, but you know what? You'll live to that long. Peter Stevens, I think being Queen would drive you to drink. Margaret was a party animal. I think she also smoked, didn't she? She chain smoked. I'm not really sure. Smoking, terrible. Vaping, slightly preferable to smoking. Breathing fresh air, preferable to both. The Turtlemoose Princess Mag smoked like a chimney. That was probably the deciding factor there. Smoking kills. It does absolutely cause lots of deaths. The Queen probably had her own cannabis strain just for her. Probably, Peter Stevens. The Queen smoked too. I've never really noticed that, Franco Walker. Unless maybe if she did it in disguise, she'd be going like that. Vaping looks stupid, says Simon York. Really? That's emptied and refilled with low nicotine type stuff. I do know nicotine. Ah. Yes, the Queen smoked. I don't think she smoked a huge amount though. Vaping is considered harm reduction. It is harm reduction, Peter Stevens. It's not safe in its own right completely, particularly given the chemicals they're putting in some of these vapes. Potent. Oh, my doctor's convinced nicotine is the worst aspect of smoking. Your doctor's wrong. Mark and Gully, nicotine is not the harmful component. It's the particulates and all the other stuff in the tobacco, the actual burning tars and stuff like that. Litter picker, smoking also looks stupid and is stupid. Yes. Oh, the Queen was a secret smoker, only a few a day. Rifleman. Ah. She was of the age that all smoked. And once you smoke, you're addicted, I suppose, ultimately, Norman Swan. It is the nicotine that keeps you coming back. It's the addictive component. Much like sugar and alcohol. Coffee has the caffeine. If you try caffeine-free coffee, decaffeinated coffee, it's not that nice. It doesn't have the same appeal to coffee. Alcohol-free beer doesn't taste that great. It doesn't have the zing. Alcohol-free wine tastes like vegetable juice and isn't appealing. Nicotine-free vapes are not as appealing, because I've discovered this unfortunately, as the nicotine-based ones. Hmm. Hold on. GS1512, I love Margaret. She was a real party girl, heavy smoker, heavy drinker. She'd not care as far as I know. Sad end with a scalding event. What happened? Most likely down to alcohol. Very sad. I'm not sure what happened to Princess Margaret. Nicotine is a very powerful poison, but lots of things are poison if taken in large quantities, but good for you taken in small quantities. Nicotine is a bad rap because of cigarettes. There's no guarantee it's actually all bad. Uh, Two, the party princess. The queen has had her Yegominions. Hot bath without check and scalded legs. Oh, right, okay, Simon York, didn't know that. Nicotine is also an antidepressant, Lassie says. Norse one, try hard to quit, it's difficult, but don't quit quitting. Indeed. The novelty is wearing off. Nicotine is no worse than caffeine or sugar or the ethanol in drink. It's all addictive components. No, I didn't realise that she scalded herself. I thought she just naturally died. Oh, that's a shame. Once again, Wikipedia was that creepy thing. They said this is, because of the recent events, it's still updating. But it's so odd when you read Wikipedia and it's like an encyclopedia that's so up to date that someone who died today, it already references their death, and it's like a bit weird. Any components that are currently hard to get, Sam York, it's crimped. A project I'm working on, I've struggled to get specific types of relays or solid state relays. I'm going to have to wait till after this is passed to get them. But certainly a lot of components I've been looking at are just out of stock, full stop. The microcontrollers as well. Pick microcontrollers, major problems getting them. In information Windows 11, well, do we want information on that, Sam McLachlan? Yes. Go to Linux. Ah. There are rumours about what killed the Queen. She may have had cancer, but it's rumours. I don't know. Very hard getting information like that out, probably, till later. Ordered some mini-mo grips from RS. They're back ordered till Feb next year. Minky Moo 2, if they're even available then. I wonder how long it's going to take for everything to return to normal stuff. But anyway, a decisive death. She was pretty old. A corgi did not shoot her, Daniel. Although, you know what corgis are like, she might have been. Almost everything in Mauser's out of stock. That's a sweeping statement, Norm Swan, but I know the feeling because, yeah, back to normal in 20 years, hopefully not. I think 1 or 2 years will be fine, but having said that, I think COVID is still an issue in China because the Chinese seem very susceptible to the virus. Oh, things will return to normal. I've got the microcontrollers I wanted. Let me go and grab the microcontrollers I wanted. Big juicy 40-pin PIC 16 microcontrollers. China still has huge lockdowns. It wouldn't surprise me, Rifleman. Ah. China economy goes down. The real estate speculators are just a burden on society. People who hoard property because people need a roof over their heads, they are the cause of homelessness and basically people being up to their neck in debt for their whole life and being stressed out because of it. Family destroying, life taking cunts. There's nothing nice to say about them. That's it. Probably demonetized again. It's fine. It gets demonetized all the time anyway. It doesn't really matter. 96 years, 365 days, 22,000 breaths a day. A lot of breaths. It's a lot of breaths. You didn't compute that though. This is going to have to be ginger beer and cream soda. Still forced COVID testing in China. North Airguns. That's China North Airguns. That's grim. There's so much being built. Yes, Mr. Egg Cake. If it sounds like the Isle of Man, all they build is luxury property. And the housing companies, the building companies here, usual suspects, who make unaffordable housing, squalid little boxes made by the cheapest immigrant labour they can find, they are also buying up any outhouse and shed and garage they can find to rent them out. Why don't mix it vodka, Sander? Because it's rum. Rum is fine. I've not had a COVID test, says Will. I did a COVID test when I got back from Glasgow to the Isle of Man, and it was fine. And I also did one when I got back from Edinburgh to Glasgow, and it was fine too. This doesn't mean anything in particular, but I did 2 tests. Kind of sick of the test. Don't think I'll be doing any in the future. CUNTs, Frank. What? Oh, yes. That. Aussie Wizard, China's trying for zero COVID and they're putting millions of people into lockdown. Will they succeed? Because there's always people going to be avoiding that. That's what happened in the Isle of Man. They locked down the Isle of Man, they closed the borders, but allowed businessmen to come in, and the businessmen lied about not having COVID and brought COVID in and infected the whole island, just because, well, my business is more important than you. That's fundamentally the attitude they're on. What are you drinking? Well, this is a mixture of ginger beer, cream soda, and rum. Simon York says, Ricola said they don't build affordable social housing as it increases Labour supporters. Rat poison uses people blood thinner, but I guess, well, reasonable enough. Well, keep in mind that nicotine is used to treat various things and it's used as insecticide. And boric acid is used as an insecticide, but can also treat athlete's foot and wet and dry rot. Linux is not difficult, it's different. It is different, Jerry BVR, and it has evolved greatly. 771 megabreaths, that's quite a lot. Walter Russell says, woof woof, you hot Manx beer. I'm not sure I'd classify as Manx. Scottish might be a better description. Nor would I classify as hot. Cyanide is used to treat types of leukemia. But the Linux community is very divisive. I'm looking at Fedora, and then there's Ubuntu, and there's Mint, and it's lots of different flavors. Everybody going off on their own tangent. Clive Boric, what is the ratio? 24/7 Hinky, if it's for your feet. If it's for your feet, for curing athlete's foot, all you do is get some boric acid off eBay, put it in a blender. You can use it as its raw form of crystals, but put it in a blender or coffee grinder or something like that, and turn it into fine powder like chalk, and then just dust it into your shoes. That's all that's involved. It's a very inert substance. Thank you, Paul. Much appreciated. Demonetization assistance, that's greatly appreciated. A lot of the recent videos, the live streams have been marked as not suitable for all advertisers. That's fine. And to be honest, for a big long multi-hour live stream, I only put adverts at the beginning and end. I don't put them all the way through it because initially when I did leave the default settings, it just put millions of adverts at the beginning and it was quite annoying. Even thalidomide has its uses. It does. Peter Stevens. It's still considered one of the most perfect painkillers. That I don't think you can even overdose on it as such. And it's very effective, but unfortunately got a bad rap because if taken during a very precise point in pregnancy, not the whole pregnancy, just at a very precise point that certain formations of the fetus were happening, it caused the malformations. But thalidomide, otherwise, it's still sold under different names. Ah. Thought you did YouTube for love and not the money. I do, Mondo Daffs a brush. I mean, the money's useful, but to be honest, I don't push it for the cash as such. I don't do what I don't go full promotions and product placement and putting adverts all the way through. I don't do that. It's fine. YouTube should be enjoyable to watch and not have too many intrusions. Intrusions? Yeah, that works. Thalidomide is anti-sickness, not analgesic. All right, okay, John. Clive's a YouTube millionaire. Oh, no, Minky Mootum, definitely not a millionaire at all. Although if you go on the net worth type sites, they come up with ludicrous values. Both me and Ralph are apparently incredibly rich because we've got YouTube channels. It's not accurate at all. I think they use random number generators or base it on really. It makes me realize maybe if I did really hammer YouTube with adverts, maybe I would be a millionaire. I doubt it though. Technical channels, as you probably, we were having a discussion about it amongst the technical channels. The technical channels don't earn remotely anything near lifestyle channels. Horovac, the problem with the thalidomide is it didn't get the chirality wrong. Proper chirality causes no side effect. Oh, I'm not really sure. Have you heard from Furbear? Furbear has popped in from time to time. I think he's doing okay. What is your net worth? I haven't a clue. I don't count money. It's not £1 million. That'd be lovely being a millionaire, but it's very unlikely at all, not even remotely. Fanny Flambeau is not my biggest hitting video. Although it did hit, it's the biggest hitting if you add in all the copied versions of it appeared on Facebook. It had many viral sweeps on Facebook, but I didn't earn a penny from them. Facebook took all that money because at that time, and they still do, Facebook was all about copyright theft. What about the reports of YouTube playing 5 or more ads before each video? If that happens, I'll intervene and cut that out in some way because that's not going to be tolerable. That was not nice. Furby was here earlier. I didn't see that, Tom Houston. This is it. The chat flies up. If I take my eyes, if I keep looking at the chat, I get distracted. If I take my eyes off the chat, I don't see what people are posting. ELW on YouTube. What? Modern Dash Brush Clive doesn't count money. He pays an accountant to do that filthy job. Actually, I supply it to the accountant all mostly done just because it's easier than having the accountant wade through multiple currencies. Maybe YouTube is trying to encourage people to go to YouTube Premium to get round the adverts. Twitch payouts were leaked. It was interesting. All right, okay, the dirt boy. Oh, talking of leaks and things like that. What's happening with Patreon? Because I noticed that Patreon have sacked a lot of its security guys. Which is odd. I wonder what's going on there. And they've sacked a lot of their other staff. Mind you, I can't understand why Patreon had so many staff working for it, given it's a website. And it will require some administration staff, but not that many. Greybeard, no idea why, but my home computer get no YouTube ads, but when I watch on other computers on my smart TV, I get ads. That's odd. Starting to hear Isle of Man for a while. adverts just stopped appearing on YouTube, which was great. But I'd rather know what you guys are being subjected to. So I'd rather see the adverts that are appearing on similar videos. Also, it made me worried that, because I I could mark my channel as being the Isle of Man, but I mark it as UK because the Isle of Man, it's too small for Google to be bothered with. It causes huge problems. It's almost like a last resort. Let's adjust the software for the Isle of Man. Apparently, Patreon was hosting questionable child content, Matty England. All right. That wouldn't surprise me because people will always find a way to abuse it. Now, one of the things that happened at Patreon in the early days, it was started innocently to support, artists and people you wanted to support, but it was used by the money launderers. So some would set up as a artist, and they'd have all these supporters who would send them donations in a controlled manner, really huge donations from other countries, and then they'd take the payment out in their country, and it was basically money laundering. They ruin everything, don't they? Ah. We support a piss artist. I am a piss artist at times, DC Allen. How much do you charge your OnlyFans, Clive Minky Mutu? Because I like it to be affordable, it's only £5 a month for OnlyFans. But that, I always feel awkward putting the nudity videos up because, well, and sex toys and things like that, because I just don't know if that's the right sort of. I'm like, I don't have an OnlyFans. Patreon got the closest to an OnlyFans video recently when my terrible neighbours in Glasgow told me that they thought a wasp had gone up the sleeve of my t-shirt, and I took the t-shirt off, and then they took pictures and video, but only after we were discussing how, this is like probably what you do in OnlyFans. I don't know how much is OnlyFans, and what are you supposed to do in it? I don't have an OnlyFans DJ Manuel. I definitely don't. And what are you supposed to do in OnlyFans? What would I have to do? Do you do full bottom shots? Indeed. I'm not sure what you do on OnlyFans. It doesn't sound like a good idea. It sounds like it would weaponize. It would be for Karens, and they'd say, top YouTuber, not a top YouTuber, top technical YouTuber, gets ass out. Has OnlyFans. I wonder if David EV blog is an OnlyFans. Full frontal and insertion videos, right, Manky Mutu, I see. And does this please people? I'm not really sure. It doesn't do a lot for me. Who needs OnlyFans when I have NBC Indeed with lineman porn? You can do almost anything. Oh, right. Ah. Is your arse? I don't know what my best feature is. I'm not really. I can't tell you if I look good or not in any way. It's just. Mystery is important. It is Rifleman, indeed. Ah. Alan Hurst says, I find that Patreon subs are great value for extra vids and info and extra live streams. There's HVCR North. Hello, Joe. Your voice, the voice. Oh, right, Frank. I don't really know. Would I have to maybe I could start OnlyFans where I read sex stories. I'm not really sure. Where'd you get your porn? On the internet, Norm Swan. I just look up industrial sites, and well, there it is. Manly bears in overalls. Well, there you go, and it's free. It's amazing. Deadliest catch. Well, there you go. Bears in big rubber overalls. I mean, what could be better? Andrew K says the beard. Is the beard's good? I don't know. I just like it as it is. So that's fine. Talk about NBC. When's the next meetup? Neil Gore probably maybe meeting tomorrow at the pub, actually. Not really sure. It is the day before. That's totally gay, says Horvath. That is correct. The day before the Queen holiday thing. That's strange. One day someone will create an OnlyFans name, probably Elliot Viers. They've done it on other sites, so, oh well. Matabelli, Clive might just be gay. You never know. More alcohol. So this will be a 2-hour stream, just so you know. So it's got some time to go yet. Katie Incredible is off to find some food. That's the first year post I've seen Katie Incredibles, just in case you think I'm ignoring you. You could have an Overalls and Beards OnlyFans. I bet there already are, Amulet Teradici. I guess there probably are. It's a big thing, probably. Blue collar bears. How many streams has this been now? Ain't big, ain't clever. I haven't a clue. I really don't know. I've not been counting. It was disrupted by the tattoo because I couldn't necessarily do them in every single week. So I missed out some streams because I was working basically. Saturday's actually 2 shows, and Sunday wasn't always possible because I was occasionally working a Sunday. But it's a lot. Hundreds? Dunno. When did we start the streams? I haven't a clue. Mr. Phil says, did I say anything good? Apparently not. It all went a bit OnlyFans and political talk. Any thoughts on the LTT screwdriver? Robert Wood, I've not looked at it too much. I don't know what's special about it, to be honest. I think people reinventing the screwdriver isn't necessarily a great thing because it seems fine. Seems like over 100. It's easily over 100 because there are at least 50 a year, plus the Patreon ones that are every second week. It's about 75 a year. Plus, that's been going for a few years. That's been going since the start of COVID, which was quite COVID-19, which let's say started doing the streams when it took off in 2020. At least about 2.5 years at about 75. Yeah, best part 200. Best part 200 streams, probably. First time you fell asleep in a stream was a tattoo. Yes, it was a Scary West. How much stuff did you fix in a tattoo? Not an awful lot, Zapped Sparky, because not a lot went wrong. I built some stuff, built some new control systems, but nothing much broke down. It was really largely because it's a ratchet screwdriver. Oh, I'll break that, Rifleman. I have a bad history with ratchet screwdrivers. The ratchets do not hold up. ELW, you've been streaming for 1 hour and 22 minutes now. What do you think of multiple languages in YouTube? Well, it had that thing that people could submit translations. They could voluntarily do translation of my videos, but all people did was translate the title. And then you'd have a title that would be in, say, Portuguese, and then people would see the Portuguese title to the video, they'd go to it, and it would be in English, which is no good for them. That's like some of the Russian technical videos I watch. It has the title in English, but then the video itself is in Russian or Ukrainian. It's not understandable. Pitch meetings reached 300 videos. Aha. And Matt and Barry, the Woofles are back. You have a bad history with ratchet screwdrivers. They break. Oh, Project Farm did a review of it. Project Farm makes great videos. A lot of work. Yeah, a set of screwdrivers evolution, rather than get the Swiss Army, which is just unholdable. It's just like it's no use. It's fine as an emergency device, but really proper screwdrivers. Greetings to the Netherlands, Sander. Andrew UK, talking about Magnetic Hill, that's because of the optical illusion of surrounding terrain, it feels like you're going downhill, but you actually vehicle rolls uphill, or something like that. Cab from down the river is at my door looking for food. Trend North air guns. Tease it with treats to make sure it turns up for company. Craig Matthews, my paws are too powerful. I just seem to just bend or break those chappy multicolour things. The stuff like, the hex bit that, you've got a hex wrench set and you feel like the screw's coming out, but in reality you're just twisting it into a spiral on the wrench, or the ratchet screwdriver that the ratchet just suddenly makes a scrunch noise and it scrunches backwards and forwards. It's wrecked. It's a lot of force is used in those. Project Farm guy talks fast chipmunk and Speedy does talk quite enthusiastically. Okurka, you should release all live streams a DVD box. I'm not sure I want to release the previous live streams. They're taken down for a reason, to avoid feeding Karens. Scrolling up and down, seeing what people are saying here. Scrolling. Minkamutu, will you be better off the £400 we're getting on the electrical bill, considering you don't have any heating on? I'm not sure what's happening. The Isle of Man is very different. The cost of an electrical unit here is not as high as in the UK. Vera do nice tools, Minky Mutu. They also do very expensive tools, and you have to ask yourself, are they really worth the money that they're charging? I'm not so sure. I think Vera has become a fashion brand, although I do have a selection of Vera tools. Human Seagull is just heading up to the pub. I thought you'd have been at the pub, Human Seagull. We need a big Clive tool. You can have one, Aussie Wizard. Just go on to YouTube, not YouTube, eBay, and type in 9-in-1 or 8-in-1 precision screwdriver and cheapest first. There you go. There's the generic tool I usually use. Are they deleted or just made private? They are just made private, Star Delta. They're still there. Well, a few have been deleted because, well, they were just so terrible. They had to be deleted because they did actually say terrible things about blowing up the government and things. Yes. Just gas petrol's cheap in Russia. Really? The Habla Fox, AK Benji. Not so sure. Remember this propaganda. I'm not convinced at the Joker. I know that it's basically a little spanner, the Vera Joker, with a little spanner with a little thing to stop the nut slipping off it. I think it's a bit overpriced for that simple feature. I tend to, for key tools that are going to get a lot of stress, and this goes the same for components, I'll go for prominent brands, and I will get generic brands to other ones. I'm fine with that. I have to get a new pair of strippers. I've obviously put them in my toolkit and taken them across with me. Because I had a lot of wires to strip on the tattoo just for building stuff. It's better than Weira and cheaper. Every tool seems to have its own era, Horovac. I've got a pair of the tool bag on the tattoo. I've got a pair of Knipex snips that I used to think were great. The snips, until that I got that pair. And silly things like if you cut a bit of insulation tape with it, they won't meet enough to actually cut the tape. They might be fine for cutting wires, but they're not up to their usual precision. I have friends in Russia, says Happy Little Fox, AK Benji, as do I. Russia is not guilty of what's happening at the moment. It's just a few key political. Arthur Two Sheds, I do have Capita fan mail. Do you have any issues going through Skewers on the way back to Isle of Man? No, John Payton. It usually goes quite straightforward. It's always leaving Isle of Man when I get stopped, and because I look like a thug, basically, and given a random search. John Possum says, I forgot about stream being carving wooden apple wood handles and cutting steel ferrous for them. Aha. I think you got a dud set. Well, I did, because I've had Knipex up to that point, the Chipmunk, and they've been fine, but those ones were just not very good. Mr. AK, I can swim quite well, though I've not been in the water for quite some time. Horovac says, my Knipex pliers are impeccable. You must have had a bad... I did, you know, that... It's just, it was the bad day at the factory, but it's kind of put me off them because it was a full cost set of Knipex and they're just not up to their usual standard. It was disappointing. They think my synths are bombs. That's because your synths look like bombs, Miss Trekkick. They look weird. Bears float, they do, Aussie Wizard. That's, you just lie on your back and float. Round the lazy river. Chipmunk, if you contact Knipex directly, they'd sure replace. I got them a long time ago. I'm not too bothered. Slightly bothered, but not too bothered. I can see light through my Knipex side cutters. Well, here's the thing, 45 RPM. I did that thing that I usually do in the shop. I asked to see them and then hold them up to the light with the blades together because shit ones, you can usually see the angle. You can see light shine through. And I didn't see the light shine through, but there's still some alignment thing that they don't cut perfectly. So that's odd. An axe works well too. I do have an axe, Dave Aylward. An electrician's axe, I'm not sure what electricians need axes for, but I was young at the time and thought, well, I'm an electrician, clearly I should have an axe, and I bought an electrician's axe. I've never used it. I've swung it about a bit, pretend to be a lumberjack, but that's about it. Whiffle time. Whiffle, oh, this is quite a big one. Oh my god, it's huge. Oh, and another big one that's gone all floppy. Whiffle. Nice. Oh, that was a bit close, actually. It's getting cooler now. This is when whiffles are quite nice because of the radiated heat. Okay, a lot of carbon in the air. Indeed, Sander. Carbon in the air. I sent you a message, ACR North on Facebook, to your HVAC Overtime, Joe. One, just to see if you're okay. I notice you're a bit down in some recent ones. Recent streams. Yes, you did. Aha. Oh, right, okay. Is there any soot in the ceiling, Pro said? Not just the ceiling. It's everywhere. Like there's so much soot. Oh well, it's my house. I can do what I want with it. Well, actually, it's Ralph's house, but I can do what I want with it. Hard to imagine an electrician-specific axe. Indeed, Jamal Tyrone. But what about chopping cables? I don't know. I really don't know. Spider Incineration Squad. HVAC R North. Joe is from Canada. Lots of technical people from Canada. Bizarrely, Canada's so many technical people. It's bizarre. So many prominent YouTubers are Canadian. Matt England. Ralph hit his hand with an axe not that long ago. You pay rent? No. Rory McLeod. Where is Ralph? Ralph is at his house, Sander. Over what used to be my mum's and dad's house. Ralph, when he came across, sold his house in Glasgow, bought this place. There's no brotherly feud in that regard because ultimately, well, there's only the two of us left. We kind of need each other to find when the other one pops his clogs. So what do you want to do with the house? Sell it, Henrik Ostrov. I'm going to end up selling the flat in Glasgow. I think that's going to happen within a few years, probably. Because having a flat in Glasgow and here is this bungalow here is not practical at all. Callum Rowley, electrician's axe for when plasterers fill our back boxes. Indeed. Peg2 says, all of my coveralls are fire resistance because I serviced oil and gas wells. Aha. Yet another subscriber's fashionably late, that's fine. Is Ralph going to embalm me if I die? What are you going to do with your stuff? The stuff in Glasgow, I'm going to cherry pick a few bits I want to keep. The Glasgow place seems nice, it is, and Glasgow is nice, Frank. It's a very difficult decision to make. This is why it's taking so long. The Isle of Man lacks the charisma of Glasgow. Would you not move back to Glasgow? Possibly, John Payton, but there's all sorts of an old tenement, and they're not great for stuff. What was your last energy pill? Energy bill, Henrik Ostrov. Not too bad. So you sell your house here? Not sure, Mr. Eggcake. It's a very tricky thing. I don't know what to do, but I'll work it out. Other than Ralph, what's the Isle of Man? Well, the snag is, because Ralph and me live in the Isle of Man, and because we're the last two members of the family, it makes it a bit awkward. Just the worry of stuff. The Glasgow flat is really cool ergonomics. It's quite nice, Andrew. It's got a lovely high ceiling. You can't just do that. It's a big old vintage flat. Rent the Glasgow flat out, DCL, and that is hugely complicated by the fact I'm on the Isle of Man and would involve paying tax in 2 countries and just an absolute shit ton of red tape. Not practical. Compromise, live the Hebrides. Indeed, Simon Coates. If I was going to move anywhere, I might move to another place in the world. Maybe even Canada. Dunno. David Aylward, let me move in with you. Your house looks like an electronics wonderland. Both are. They're full of technical stuff. Plus, you'd be a blood-sucking landlord, tail saver, and to be honest, I don't approve of... I know I don't mind so much if someone just has one place, but the scummy landlords, I'm not keen on that. I think people should own their own place. And it should be affordable. Sanders says you'd be welcome in Holland. I've never really considered Holland, although I've worked there. Grameshaw, on upside, you get good money for flat in Glasgow now, Clive. It's going to break my heart when I sell it, to be honest. I lived there for so long. I call it my castle in the sky. It's so secure. Coming home from working away from a long time and just getting in and closing that door behind me just felt so comforting. Very hard to describe. So much of my life has been spent there. Have a plan for your estate. Don't leave it up to chance, Norm Swan. The will has been written. Glasgow is good, but would not like to live there. Nice place, nice to visit. GS1512. It has its dark sides. If I ever did become a landlord, it's unlikely, but if I ever did become a landlord, I would be a nice landlord. Say, for instance, when COVID hit, I would have actually cut the rent to virtually zero just to allow for people being out of work. I would have been a nice landlord. Mickey Mutu, I think you've made your mind up if you love your flat there so much. It's still tricky. It's complicated by Ralph being here as well. Think we want to hear about Glasgow's dark sides, Martin Bally. Major homelessness and drugs, both going hand in hand together. Bit of violence at night. It's Gotham City. Simon Coates not want to discuss that subject, but the European Union forced Glasgow to take a lot of people in. Do you have or had any pet? I borrow cats, Lewis. Cats visit. Seems like every major US city, that is bit greybeard. That is big city life, isn't it? IAM seems to have better internet, Voltar 2M stereo. That was just they were working the system. The internet is good now. It wasn't good before at the beginning. At the beginning of this channel, it was very short uploads because it was very hard to upload. It took a long time, and it's got better. But do I have a problem with migration? No, not at all, Sebla. But I do have a problem with people who have no desire to contribute to a culture Matty England, people who wish to just ride on its back. But let's not go there, that is political. People know my thoughts on certain aspects of that. But anyway, Plada is still up for sale if you can raise 350k. Plada? What's Plada? Yes. When we see outside your house again, let's have a view out the window. All you'd see is an overgrown garden, Glen Marina. It needs flames. It needs foofled. It's an island off Scotland. That's not practical, ain't big, ain't clever. I know someone who used to live on an island, and they basically had to take their power with them, and they travelled across in a boat. It just didn't seem practical. I mean, I suppose with Skylink, it's going to not be too bad. But no. Who wants an island? Lewis, you win because you pronounced my name right. That's good to know, Louis. Lewis. Watch your vid on the quack electric healer guy in the park. Very interesting, says Craig Matthews. That's one of my fake videos. It's not real. The Dr. Alfred Jones. It would just seem like a good story for that thing. But it's probably what happened at times round that era. Because everybody was right into electrical quackery back then. Kerry says, hello kitties. Fibre connection BT. Well, at the moment I've got a fibre connection here, Sander. Very hard to get eBay stuff on remote island, Kirk. Very hard to get eBay stuff on the Isle of Man. Customs has been opening my packages again. Let me show you what they opened. They opened a package containing this. Let's see who can guess what it is, what it does. And it's double-sided. But yes, they put a label on it saying we opened this and then reclosed it again. Really, what say you just don't? Really though, but that was common back then. It's a very believable story. It was common. There was electrical fairground quackery. The violet rays, the doctors were full of electro machines that people sat in chairs and they connected electrodes or zapped them and healed them with electricity. So it was based in reality, but it was just a fanciful description of what could have been there, but it wasn't real in that instance. Have you pampas grass? No. Glen Marina, I don't have not seen. They must have it. There is pampas grass down in the local park. Drink, says Franco Walker. Okay. Cheap rum. I've got a package you can open, Clive. Yes, indeed. Oh, I should have actually. What's the video called? What? I can't remember what that's called. Death Park. It was filmed in Death Park, which is a Victorian park in Glasgow, which is actually called Queen's Park, but its media nickname is Death Park because so many people get killed in it for some bizarre reason. Lots of rapage and killing. It's got a very bad history for that, but it is ultimately a Victorian park, and it's lovely. I love Death Park. Some people could use a few shocks, though. I could use remedial shocks with a microwave transformer, certain government officials. Anyway, it's a light. It was Death Park. Queen's Park, it's very typical Glasgow, to be honest. Graham Shaw, yeah. Glasgow's a lot of green place. It's quite nice. Cool Paul says, thanks a Yugamoon from my mum. You're welcome. Cottaging, Mr. Eggcake. That's inappropriate, come right after that. But yes, probably there's a flagpole in the middle. It used to be a gay meeting point where lots of gay bashers used to bash them. Oh, someone bloody random says, a bone to pick with you, reminding me that dandelion burdock exists. I haven't had it in years now. I have multiple bottles of this stuff. It's very odd, but yeah, it's quite nice. Happy Little Fox has a small wood in the front garden. I see. It's a what? It's a light. It projects 2 beams. If I was to actually power it up now and point at the wall, you get a bright green of light, a green beam of a flat line of light. If mounted here, like this, it would project a flat beam of light out either side. It's just a decorative light. Reasonable construction. I'll take it apart in a video. I may pop the lenses out since it looks like they're glued in. Johnny Fox, hello from Maxford Park, Pollock Shields. Aha. In some of the parks here, they've removed practically all the bushes because of crime. That's actually a crime in its own right, Ver de Wolf. Where's Death Park, Clive? Owen Griffiths music. It's called Queen's Park. It's at the end of Victoria Road. Big, huge iron gates. It looks like something out of a horror movie, but it's a really nice park. It's very much a walk through the big park type of thing. What goes with Iron Brew? I have 2 cans in hand, 330mm peg tooth. Whiskey or rum or anything you like goes with it. Lewis, the lights that I featured in the video, which are really attractive, they came from Pound Stretcher in the UK. I've never seen them anywhere else. Very odd lights, really inspirational, because it makes you think, you know, you could actually modify your own lights in a similar way to make them more stylish. The lenses may be argon filled. I don't think they are. David Aylward is off to bed. Good night. So it's like my Milwaukee laser level in a way, Jonathan Hughes, but this one is just a light. It puts out fairly thick bands of light. It is designed not as a laser, it's designed as a decorative light. Glasgow also has a south park. Okay, Tom, who's not? I'm not really sure. It's got a south side. Greybeard, would you give a drink to my dad who passed away last year? Yes. His birthday would have been tomorrow. Greybeard, to your dad. Long time since I've had a Jägermeister. Short beard when you crouch down, short beard when I go like that as well. I can tuck it inside the shirt when I'm wanting to avoid damaging it in huge infernos and things like that. Gives a very different look and gives a very strange look, particularly if you go like that and then down again. It sort of gives a different length until it just goes pop and comes out again. Scott Bagley, everything is well. Yes. Oh, yeah. Peg tooth whiskey. If you got a standard generic whiskey, that is called the Girder, or it's got other names as well, but that is great with Iron Brew. Do you fit in the Glasgow subway? They look tiny, Voltar 2M stereo. I have to stoop in the subway. It's quite small, but really fast and slick. Harris chalks off. Good night, Harris. Oh, you've had gadolinium injected into you. It's BPP. Well, in this case, the gadolinium stream is about its thermal properties when exposed to magnetism and how it may pose a potential candidate as air conditioning for cooling or heating buildings. I'm not really sure how efficient it would be for heating, though. Do you comb your beard? Very occasionally, not too often, because every time I comb it, hairs come out. Whiskey or whiskey? No E in whiskey for in Scotland, TDO Brindano. Scott Bagley, I think everybody in the chat's doing okay. Cannot hide a beard forever. No, you can't, Norm Swan. Sanders off. Good night. Glasgow subway trains are small, even I need to stoop. I'm only 5'8". Yeah, Graham Shaw. Stoop when you go in, but inside, yeah. If I'm standing up, I'll lean against the rail and just duck my head down in them. They are quite small. Do you have a P.O. box for sending stuff? No, I don't. I've got enough here at the moment, although I'm always up for interesting, technically interesting things, but a lot of people want to send very ordinary things. Like a USB power supplies that went bang, to be honest. By the time it went bang, all the evidence was blown up inside it. It's not that great, it's just black. I'm pretty sure Liz did respond. I put this listing up, but the listing of this video. But I haven't seen Liz today. She's probably fallen asleep or got distracted, and then I'll realise later that she's missed the woofles. What technical industry facility would you most like to visit if you could? I'm not really sure. Neil Jones. I'd say I'm more interested in like working in a facility. Not really sure. Who came out first? You or Ralphie? Ralphie came out first 3 years earlier. They send pants. They do send pants. Thought the subway was getting new trains soon. I believe it may be Packrat UK. Scrolling. The Tron says Chernobyl. That'd be interesting, but it's turned into a bit of a tourist trap now. Isn't Liz still on holiday in India? I don't really know. Alan Orst, I mended a power supply last week, just a popped capacitor, as it often is. Ralphie is even older than you. Yeah, even older than me. The stream is going on for another 7 minutes, maybe 8 minutes, maybe even 10. But it's a 2-hour stream this time. Can you service my oil burning furnace? Not in New Jersey, USA, David Skywalker, but I do look after my own oil burning furnace. Not that it gets much use. It's an emergency last resort. Return to forum, indeed. Return to original location, Fran. That's the main thing. Return to a little island in the middle of the Irish Sea that has no shops open at this time of night, and the coffee shops close at 3 p.m. Lovely. It's very different to big city living. Have you been to Electric Mountain, Wales? I have not, mint Sparky. If I went to Electric Mountain, I'd expect to do huge electrical things like sparks coming out the ground. Will you be joining the queue? No, Chopperini. I just acknowledge the Queen did a great job as a Queen, but I'm not going to go and look at a fucking box. Not my thing. Would you rotate the lens thing? Can you make circle line? Henrik Ostrov. This thing, you actually get 360-degree ones with a lens all the way around that project a beam in all directions. They are available. I want to go to MIT, but it was 27,000 tuition when I got out of high school. No, that's not great, Jonathan Hughes. Poor guy that fell over is not going to live that down. What's that, DC on? This old Tony just posted a new video, says Evolution. Interesting. What are you drinking tonight, Callum? I'm drinking rum and cream soda now. I watched ginger beer earlier, but I've run out of ginger beer. Oh, it was the Electric Bray. Yeah, near Culzean Castle, Tom Houston, another illusion. Greetings back to Lower Saxony, Oliver. I have a 50-year-old computer memory card here. 48 bytes of party RAM and 432 tiny magnetic coils. Occasionally you see memory stuff, the memory core stuff sold on eBay, but it's kind of rare now. A guard fell on his face. Excellent. Didn't know that. I'm going to look up that now, Mr. Eggcake. Did he pass out or did something else happen? That's one of these things that will just never, ever go off the internet. Have you watched Inheritance Machining, Clive? Not sure, Star Delta. Don't know about that. Graham Shaw, when I went with a girlfriend, was turned away from a restaurant at 8 p.m. as it was too late in the day. That happens here at 4 p.m. It's just. Or, oh, he fainted. All right, okay. Matt England. Or you go into a local restaurant and you say you're still serving. It's you have to ask that before, and they say, "Oh yeah, yeah, we're still serving." And you order a breakfast or chips and cheese or whatever. And before it's arrived, they've started putting the chairs on the tables, and it's like, well, I'm feeling a bit fucking awkward now, eating my food while you're closing the shop. Yes. Or that gross guy exposing himself. Is this another thing that happened? He'll also be on the internet for time. I went in the funicular on my visit to Pittsburgh. There is a funicular railway here, Marky and Gooley, but it's not used. It's all overgrown now. It's a new channel, much like this old Tony. All right, Star Delta. I'm not sure. There's always an evolution of channels. This old Tony has staying power, as does Steve Summers, and I always get it wrong. A-bomb 69. It's not a 69. A-bomb, that's it. That's nuts with LM for you. It is Graham Shaw. Or when you walk in, they're like, the person in the kitchen is like, oh, I can't be arse cooking food. Oh, no, it's not available. Oh, yes, fat wanker. One person I'm thinking of here. Thank you, Votar 2M Stereo. I made a prototype of power supply on the go. I want to send you one for a teardown, let you know what you think. Uh-oh, ELW. You could send me some pictures of it. Eating your food while the shop is closing is always awkward. It is, I'm the Beelzebub. Absolutely. Can we get a bedtime story, please, Clive? No, Minky Moo 2. Google rewards balance. Aha. This old Tony isn't even old. False advertising. He's only appeared once I can think of. He was quite handsome looking, I have to say. Is it to your YouTube the main source income? The YouTube beats the tattoo, but I'll keep the tattoo on for as long as possible if I'm invited because I'm freelance. Because YouTube is not, there's no security in YouTube. How do you heat your water if the oil burner is off most of the time? Toby Sinclair Bell. I have an undersink heater in the kitchen, which is a vented heater because then it can't burst and flood the place. And it's great. It's much better than the oil one because the hot water's there instantly as soon as you turn the tap on. A-Bomb 79, Adam Booth. Indeed, Larry's BK. If having a story, could you tuck us in? Indeed. Virtual tucking in, 45 RPM. Or just watch my videos till you fall asleep, as many people do. I know the feeling. I often fall asleep with the hand on the screen and it just does weird shit. The two social thing. Indeed. How do you pronounce Edinburgh? Well, technically speaking, it's Edinburgh, but Embra, E-M-B-R-A, is how it tends to be pronounced in Ouija, Thomas. The stream is going on for another. Let's go till 10 past, shall we? So that's another 11 minutes. Your furnace heats your hot water, Kevin Hardesty. Yes. The way the water heating is done now, man, the heating's done, it's not air, it's water, it's a hydronic system. So we've got radiators dotted all around the house and a pump that pumps the hot water around them via the boiler, but there's also a heat exchange in the boiler and a panel that it will heat it on demand. And when you turn the tap on, the oil boiler kicks in after a delay, heats the water, and then you turn the tap off and it stops, which means if you just turn the tap on for a quick burst of hot water and then off again, you get cold water. That's why I got rid of that aspect. Votar 2am stereo, came up to 8 a.m, no sleep time. I know the feeling. I got to bed about 6:30 or 7 this morning. Jaeger. Jaeger Minion. Tricky, tricky decisions. Let's do something that's completely relevant. Not sure. Thinking. Actually, to an entire city, to Glasgow, for being a great city. A very odd and mixed city, but still a very, very nice city to be in. Do you know what? I like walking down to like the local Asda, which is a 24-hour Asda in Glasgow, at 3 a.m. in the morning because, well, I'm still up at that point, and then I just think I'll just go and get some shopping. And I'd like walking through Glasgow when it's dark and quiet at night, and the place is always busy. There's lots of workers always going in and buying their shopping. A lot of other midnight loners, nocturnal people that are shopping during the night at Asda. Very strange. Furnace heating hot water, indeed, classic gamer. That's how it is. Off to Fran Lab, says Kerry. Fran Lab streaming, I guess. Can you do the awkward moments slightly earlier so we can actually see it? It depends where you are in the world, apparently. Some people see the full awkward moment, others don't. It ends abruptly and randomly at different times. Woofles have been in short supply. There's been quite a few woofles. John Nom says, I joined you, Clive. Thank you for joining. And the Beelzebub, thank you. Mandatory super chat. Much appreciated. What's Fran moaning about today? Fran does moan quite a lot, but that's because we're all old and wise, Simon quotes. And as we get older, we become more cynical and encourage contempt for authority. I thoroughly encourage contempt for authority because it's all fake. It's people who have nothing else to contribute to society. Do you have all major supermarkets, Isle of Man? There's a Tesco. We've got a B&Q and a Screwfix. They're like technical supermarkets in a way. But the main supermarkets are Co-op and ShopRite, which is a Manx ShopRite. It's not the same ShopRite as the American ones, which sells Sainsbury's stuff. Craig Matthews, Glasgow at night, not necessarily somewhere I'd like to be. Depends which part of Glasgow. It's Glasgow, yeah, I suppose it is. Do you have hot water in the bathroom then? Toby Sinclair Bell. No, I tend to wash my hands and stuff like that in the kitchen sink anyway, but I could add another heater in the bathroom. I just don't. No need. Will there be a Halloween Manx Beard get-together? I'm not really sure, Bonkmatic Gaming. Have we done that in the past? Have we had a Halloween meeting? I think we did one year. That's an idea. Screwfix are B&Q too. They are. Same holding company, isn't it, the Elmonk? Question authority always, John Robson. Absolutely, because they're usually not authoritative. Do you have a till station near your Screwfix? No, Redhead Forster. In Glasgow, yes, they're right next to each other. But just a Screwfix here. September weekend, NBC. I'm not really sure. Do you have a nice bath? So. I tend to shower at the gym more than anything else. Thank you, the Chipmunk. Screwfix shops mug me. I go in for one thing. Yes, and then you buy lots of stuff. Thank you, Neil Sheriff. Have some of my Google Rewards earnings credit for surveys. Oh, do you do those things? Question authority. Why, Horovac? Because the authority is usually self-appointed. Get Your Spin says, we haven't had hot running water for nearly a year now. Can I suggest, depending on your situation, under sink water heaters as being great? Just a very convenient way if you've got problems with the hot water system of just having hot water at your tap. If you get the full mains pressure ones, you can just run it straight into the existing plumbing. And they hold a little reservoir of water. I can show you one. Hold on, I've got one here. Have I got one? Not sure. But anyway, just imagine a tank, a white plastic tank, that you just plug it into a socket. It only takes about 2 kilowatts, if that, and it just heats the water like a kettle, but then holds it, but in good insulation. It's got all the sort of like the thermal lagging around it. And then when you turn the tap on, the hot water is always there. It's like literally this far away from the tap. So it comes out straight away. Much more efficient than the standard heating systems. One thing I like about Poland DIY stores, you can still buy screws nails loose by the gram. All right, the Tron, that's unusual. You can do that. You can buy them individually at Bill's Tool Store in Glasgow. Yugamune to Poundland. They can get the next Yugamune in Martin Balmforth. Under-sink water heaters are great. We feed our kitchen under-sink to the bathroom sink as well. GS1512, that makes sense. Very handy. Not great for filling an entire sink with water, but if it's you're just a bachelor who just washes a few dishes at a time, it's fine. Scott Morton says, those under-sink heaters still using electricity to heat the water, which is wasteful. Gas, oil, or hot water is far more advisable. Keep in mind that if I used my oil burner, it keeps the heat exchanger hot all the time. I wondered where all that oil went in the process before I moved fully across. And also, in the time it takes to get the hot water to my kitchen sink, I'll have finished using it by that point in time. So all I've done is heat pipe. So no, I measured the power consumption in standby, and the undersink water heater was massively more efficient. Random whiffle time, says Frank. Maybe we'll finish on a whiffle. Central water heater is nice, Kevin Hardesty. Electric water heating is actually 100% efficient. There are very low losses at all. All the energy gets converted to the hot water. Resistive heating is 100% efficient. Yep, Stephen, I mean, you don't allow for the efficiency of the generation of power in the first place. This is where the power walls will be useful. LG have done a recall on their power walls due to battery failure. Why don't power walls have a vent to vent all the smoke and flames outside? I think that's even with the Tesla ones. That's quite odd. Oh no. Peter Ferguson says Asda changed hours to match Sainsbury's, and that means no 24-hour shop. That's annoying. Heat pump water heaters, William Wallace. That's interesting. My throat's getting worse already. I've not done such a long stream in a while. Aircon is more than 100% efficient, Will Yarm. I think there's certain thing, with the efficiency of the heat pumps is supposed to be quite good, but they're much more complex. And a malfunctioning heat pump can draw a lot more power. Canberra Rowley, if it's an external boiler, it will keep itself warm to avoid freezing to a degree, but I don't think it has that sort of anti-frost functionality on it. Oh, there's another sex bot. But anyway. Oh, and wow. The sex bots are coming in big time now. Lovely. And trying to spam as much as they can, but it's not working, is it? Really that well? Because, God, they really are spamming. Good timing. And they're using multiple accounts for it to try and get around the fact that I put a 10-second time delay. Oh, right, okay. Well, that's good timing. The bots are being blocked, but my apologies to the mods for having to do that extra burst of bot blocking, but the stream is coming to an end anyway. Are you ready? Whiffle. Maybe one more. Whiffle. And have a great week. And I shall see you next week for another live stream. So don't work too hard. Enjoy yourself and don't take things too seriously. As ever, because everything is good. Anyway, I shall see you then. Have fun and take care.